Welcome to the TechnoGals podcast, a podcast where we talk about technology and anything else that is top of mind. Let's get started. And Alicia laughs every time that I do the finger gun. She can't help herself. It's just part of the gig.
It still is just so random to me. It's so random that now Tracy got pictures taken of her doing finger guns.
It's become like my brand, like Tracy Gorman, TechnoGals, finger guns.
Yes.
Well, we are so excited to have a guest today. Sana Asher's joining us. And today we're really going to talk about transformation. She has a ton of experience leading large transformation efforts, specifically around SAP. But today we're really going to focus on how can leaders be successful in transformation initiatives? What are some of the common pitfalls? And really just to get an opportunity to learn from her experience of 30 years in the industry. So Sana, we are so excited to have you on the TechnoGals podcast. Do you want to do a quick introduction and a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of jump in?
Sure, absolutely. Tracy, it is a pleasure. And Alicia, thank you so very much for having me, guys, here. I am excited to chat with you both. I think you both are doing amazing work, and I'm so grateful I met you both. So yeah, let's dive in. I've spent about 3 decades in the enterprise applications ecosystem, specifically around SAP. And one of the things I have learned is in the 3 decades is just be who you are. The world will adjust. Trust me. As women, we always get told, don't do this. Put your skirt down. Don't walk like this. Don't be overconfident. Bullshit. Just be who you are and the world will adjust. So that's who I am.
I'm here for it.
Same. All day, every day.
Awesome.
So I guess we'll just kind of jump in then. So tell us a little bit about your role today currently and kind of how you're helping different organizations through their, we'll call it the digital transformation journey. And maybe we can talk a little bit about the hype cycle around digital transformation. But can you just tell us a little bit more about like how you engage with organizations and what you help coach them through?
Sure, absolutely. So the hype, as you say, Tracy, is actually really, really real. And I'll tell you what the problem statement is and what is going on. So within the SAP ecosystem, there is a brand new, or there is no, not brand new, there is a software called ECC, called Enterprise Core Component. This software was launched about 15 years ago, 18 years ago, where clients were making an upgrade from 4.7 to ECC, and that was an on-prem software. What has now happened since then, to fast forward to now, is a lot of clients want to make the move to the cloud. A lot of clients want to take their entire digital operations and ensure that they have a lower cost of ownership, they have more adaptability, there's more innovation. So hence they want to move to the cloud. What has happened is that there's about 40,000 customers who have not made that move. So
Wow.
SAP, yeah, is asking all these clients to make the move by 2027, which is the first drop date, and then the other date is 2030, which is an extended maintenance. What does that mean? It means that SAP clients actually do have to make the move, but there is so much noise in the market that there is no real way of saying, how do I do this
Mm-hmm.
without spending a couple of $1 million, without looking stupid, without going crazy, right? And what I do with clients is I help them in a 12-week program to understand what they have currently in their landscape, because if they've implemented this ECC software 10, 15, 20 years ago, they probably don't even know what they're carrying, right? So I help them understand what they have in their current landscape, help them optimize that landscape, and then show them what their new landscape will look like in a real S4HANA system. So my competition, all our large, SIs, everyone's talking about doing a phase zero. Everyone's talking about doing, oh, we can do a phase zero, then we can do a proof of concept. Oh, absolutely. You can do that. It's going to take you a year and a half, number one. And number two, it's all throwaway work. I don't do that. What I do is hands-on work that you can pick up and you can keep reusing. So at the end of 12 weeks, when you have a HANA system, you are now ready to see how your data, your processes are going to be in that system. And at that point, you make a decision. Hey, do I really want to do the transformation now? Or can I wait a few months and work on
Mhm.
these optimized topics and take it from there? That's what I do.
Interesting. So how do you like when you're approaching these organizations, I'm assuming you're meeting with kind of like the top leaders of these
Yes.
different kind of corporations. Where do you see maybe the hesitancy to start on this journey? Like I'm just thinking of back through companies that I've worked for, and there's all of these like customizations, and it's
Yes.
this super complex environment, probably different instances if they're like a global company.
Right.
How do you work with these leaders to really just understand what's going to be the best fit for them, and then maybe what is some of the pushback you get?
So I'll start with the pushback first, and then we'll go to the next one. So the pushback is it's too good to be true. It's not
Yeah.
possible. This can't happen. And that's when I remind them to say, remember what year we're in? 2025. Remember what we have going on right now? AI. Remember what's really hot? Innovation. So, no, anything's possible. We are living in a world of possibilities today, right? So, that's the first pushback I get. The second pushback that I get is, how can you do this in 12 weeks? This doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, I can because we have tools. I have frameworks, and these are not dependent on people. These are
Mhm.
tools that I've developed in my 30 years of experience of knowing what not to do, right? I've done everything, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I'm going to do. So that experience is exactly what I'm bringing to the table. And once they trust me and say, yep, let's go, that's when the magic happens, Tracy. They're like,
Mhm.
oh my God, what the heck were we thinking?
Yeah. How do you when you're working with these leaders, obviously this is extremely expensive, right? I mean, there's different costs along the way based on
Yes.
like the milestone and things like that. But as you engage with these leaders, what are some common characteristics or approaches that you've seen them be really successful in this space? And then maybe like the flip side of, are there any themes where you see, wow, if they're doing this, it's almost always going to fail? Do you have any like examples of some of those things?
Sure. So I think cost is a secondary conversation, and I'll tell you the reason for that. If you look at the history of SAP implementations, and if you can do a Google search, Gartner, and the other analysts say 75% of SAP implementations are going to fail and they're going to have an overrun. The challenge is, after knowing that, people still don't want to learn. That's the issue, right?
Mm,
And what I say to them is, before you are going to become another statistic, before you're going to go down that path and spend all the millions, put your job on the line, figure out, oh my God, this could be my last gig. Why not do something before, do planning, work with people like myself who are not focused on getting the millions from you, but focused on actually adding value, taking away your stress, taking away your, anxiety.
mhm,
Plan your project. So if you work with me or people like me who have boutique firms, understand the whole planning phase, spend time there, do amazing planning. So now you know what you're getting into. Now you understand, eyes wide open. Okay, here's where I'm going to spend the money. Guess what? Even if you take down the failure rate by 1%, imagine the impact it's going to make, because 80% of the world's commerce runs on SAP. Now take that 1% efficiency, not 5, not 10, not 20, 1. Look what you've done. But a lot of people are so scared, Tracy. They're so nervous by not following the norm, by worrying, oh my God, if I don't call in the large systems integrator, oh, if I don't call in this guy, what is going to happen? And I think they are more at risk when they call them as opposed to not calling them,
yeah.
because they can work with people like us, get a handle on a planning, and then go to them. I have no issues, they working with anybody, but at least get a handle on what you need to know.
Do you see? Go ahead, Alicia.
And say, do you feel like there's this fear of, we always, when we talk or work with customers, we ask like, what's the risk of doing nothing? Like, what does the business look
Yes.
like if they do nothing? But it's almost like you're saying that it's like so fearful because if they fail at it or it overruns, that's going to impact their career or their perception. So they do choose to do nothing.
Yeah, they do choose to do nothing. And what happens is that's when I think it's a classic case of, getting hit by headlights with a deer on a highway, right? Because think about this, right? Go back 5 years, 2020, when COVID hit. None of us knew how supply chains were going to get affected, right? Nobody had nobody even in their wildest dreams thought that everything will come to a standstill, but it did. It did, and no one was ready,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the challenge we have is we have leaders who are so focused on not doing anything and being safe that they're
Mm-hmm.
not even looking at what could come, right? Like AI is so big. Like, and I'm sure you guys are seeing the
Wow.
news, what China is doing, what agentic AI is doing, what Sam Altman is doing in OpenAI. It is truly going to change the world. And if you are, just because you are going to close your eyes and say, oh, the world is not changing, I'm so sorry. Please wake up and smell the fucking coffee, because it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Well, it's
seriously, like you just, it is changing. And the faster you get onto that program, the better off you're going to be.
Well, it's interesting because we talk a lot about leadership topics, and one of the
Yeah,
things is being really introspective, looking, knowing yourself and what's your brand, but also if you're comfortable, you're not growing, you're not challenging yourself, and these people that are probably just been like, "Oh, I'm comfortable, I don't want to touch it, it's fine, it's operating," but that's going to end up biting you because you're not growing. The company's not going to grow, the company's not innovating, the company's going to become stagnant because they're choosing to
exactly.
stay comfortable instead of
Exactly.
addressing that discomfort.
Yeah, addressing the discomfort and also being confident that you are leading the company in the right way, right? So, one of the challenges the leaders are facing is a business use case, right? On how do they go back to their leadership teams, their
mm-hmm.
CFOs, their CEOs, and make a argument of saying, we just implemented ECC 10 years ago, 15 years ago at a couple $1 million. We now have to spend another couple $1 million to, go to the cloud.
Yep.
But guess what? Be smart, do your homework, talk to people like us, let us help you build that use case.
Mm,
It's always not about doing the same old thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That is called being stupid and insanity, right? That's what Einstein says, that you do the same thing over and over again and you're going to have a different result. You're stupid. So think about the innovative ways where people are doing these transformations, right? Talk to people. I think a lot of times, Tracy and Alicia, what I am seeing, people are just afraid to ask the hard questions. They are so scared that they're going to lose their position. They're going to lose, their job. And I'm like, guys, this is much more than that. We all have a, service to each other to say the right thing, do the right thing, right? So why would you be afraid if you're doing the right thing?
Right. I wonder if there's like a fear of them looking stupid because they don't
Yeah,
know the solution. But that's also one of the things that we encourage a lot of, like, leadership should not expect to be the person that knows everything.
mm.
correct.
You have to be comfortable to be like, I'm not an expert in this space, but I know someone that is, and I would rather partner with them than me look a fool trying to navigate this on my limited knowledge. Like, that is
Absolutely.
a growth gap if you cannot do that.
100% agreed. And I personally feel if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly. 100%.
You are in the wrong room because now not only have you stopped learning, you have stopped growing. So
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
For sure.
When you're so like you bring up a really good point around identifying the specific like business use cases and really like ROI for the transformation. So there's like one piece to that, but then there's also a piece of in order to have reliable infrastructure that side is harder to sell to someone. Like if you're a CIO, you can connect to like reliability, scalability, all of this like net new features that come when in the cloud-based versions and blah blah blah. But to explain that to non-technical individuals within the organization, so a lot of times what I've seen is to get that type of spend authority, people are having to go get approval from their CFO or even their
Right.
CEO, depending on like the overall like scope. How have you seen being able to tell that story of both like it's also reliability, but it's also here are these very specific business cases that we will be able to go after that we haven't been able to do before. How do you navigate those conversations?
So I think that's a very good question, Tracy. And I think that you have to understand what the person's role is, right? So, for example, a CFO. What is a CFO focused on, right? He wants to focus on what is his daily sales outstanding. How quickly is he, the invoices that they're putting out as a company, are they getting paid? What is the
Mhm.
number of days those invoices are open, right? Today, on the system that they may be on, they may probably have a lot of custom reports that they are running to even get to that answer, right? What if they find an opportunity to go acquire another organization that is going to double their business? Guess what? How much time are you going to spend figuring out what you even have in your own hood to go even make an acquisition offer? Right? What if someone wants to come and acquire someone? What if someone wants to come and merge with you, and you have a really handsome offer on the table? What do? You have no idea, like what you have as a portfolio or what your monies are. So now, for a CFO, if I can go to a CFO and say, "Look, I know you're spending 22 days to close your books in a month. So March 30th, you will close your books on April 22nd. What if I can show you a way to close your books on April 1st or April 2nd? How much more valuable is that going to be for you?
Mhm.
Right? What if
Mhm.
I can show you how you can run reports in real time through your banks, through your accountants, through your open invoices, through your paid invoices in real time on a dashboard? Oh, wow. I know exactly how much money I have in the bank. I know exactly how much surplus I have. I know exactly how much I owe. How much is that worth? Oh, that's worth a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, then what are you going to do about that? Don't know.
Yeah. Do I write the check or do I not write the check? So
Exactly.
yeah, no, that's a really good point. Um,
It's
Alicia.
interesting because you're talking about really, writing the business use case up to individual personas though
Yes.
and so you have to know. I was just talking about this with someone yesterday. Why do they wake up in the morning? What makes them super happy? What makes them super mad? And you have to know those pain points about the things that your product or whatever it is that's going to be able to offer. What do you have access to that helps and alleviates the per persona for that individual C-suite office that you're trying to get buy-in from? But it is really tailored conversations based upon those things that matter to them most.
Oh, 100%. Because I think technology transformations are labeled as technology transformations only because technology enables business. But at the end of the day, it's all about business drivers.
Mhm.
What am I trying to accomplish, right? If I'm Walmart, do I need to know how quickly is my Levi's jeans, taking to get on that shelf? What is my inventory cycle? How much time am I losing, or how many customers am I losing if they don't find it on the shelf? Do I have an option to order it online? I mean, these are all business decisions. These are not technology decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
Great call out. I think we get stuck in the cycle of um, IT sees this opportunity and we struggle with articulating the business value, but it always comes back to if the business cannot get tied back to the why, we will never be able to do anything. And I think
Correct.
Alicia, your kind of comment around it's really like what is meaningful to the specific audience or the persona. The CEO is going to care about one thing, the CFO is going to care about something else, the CIO is going to care about another thing. And so being able to switch between those different personas based on who you're talking to ultimately get to, all right, here's the plan, this is what we need to do, and here's how it's valuable in all of these different areas. um yeah, I think that's a great call out.
I have a question, Sana, about
Yeah.
just the perception of the security of the cloud as this
Mm.
is being a somewhat mandated transformation and I guess shift or move. I work with a lot of customers. Well, I don't actually, I should not say that. I work with some customers that are maybe FSI or healthcare, highly regulated industries
Right.
that still have this perception of the cloud, but this is being somewhat forced by SAP. So is this like, what are you noticing from the field or like insights from your customers about that where they've already been somewhat resistant to it?
So I think they're very resistant because yes, they're not sure about the security, right? They just feel like, oh my God, what is going to happen? I think the other challenge also is, Alicia, that the whole model of buying a license, implementing the software is also changing. So until now, all of these licenses were owned by the customer, right? They were on-prem licenses. With the whole cloud piece, they become a cloud license, and SAP owns them. So you were just paying a monthly fee to use those licenses, right? Just like you and I would use, a chat GPT paid for or a Calendly or something like that. The world is actually shifting to software as a service. We're
Yep.
all doing it every single day,
Mm-hmm.
right? We use Sales Navigator, we use ChatGPT, we use Calendly, we use Zoom, we use so many different products. Is there a security issue? Absolutely, there is, right? But is there opportunities to make sure that you don't have a security issue? There is also.
For sure.
But you need to be in the field, you need to get into the ditches and the trenches to understand what that is. By sitting on the periphery, sitting on the fence, and asking the question is not going to help you know
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of customers in the last couple of years have gotten hacked. Large SAP customers, they've been held to ransom. People don't talk about it. Is it happening? Oh, 100% is
Yeah.
happening. Oh yeah, absolutely. But what do? They make sure that the infrastructures are very, very well protected. So this is happening to on-prem. So anything is possible, but it's up to you what steps you're going to take to protect that.
Yeah. Very
Right.
good.
Kind of that risk adjusted. Like
Yes.
you can spend all the money in the world to lock your stuff down, but at what point are you thinking through, is it really that valuable to spend the extra, million, $10 million, or where there's still a slight possibility that it could happen? So
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I want to shift gears just a little bit because I am truly inspired by your kind of just career journey. So you've worked at places like Accenture, Capgemini, several other places. You've been in this industry for a long time, but in 2023, you left corporate and
Yes.
you built your own business. So can you talk us through, like, I think, we brought this up several times. Eventually we would love to be able to do, and it will happen,
Yeah.
TechnoGals full time. Like it's out there, it's in the ether. But it's hard for a lot of people to take that leap. So I just wanted to hear from you. How did you decide, like, all right, yep, today is the last day, I'm going for it, I'm taking the leap? And just like, how has that journey been? Because I just think it's super inspiring.
Thank you, Tracy. So I think I came to a point in August of 2023. You want to call it a midlife crisis, you want to call it a meltdown. I was at a point where I was completely burnt out. I was just completely burnt out, and burnt out not just because of being in corporate, but because of, in 30 years nothing had really changed. It was the same bullshit, it was the same lies. If you were telling if I was telling the truth, I would get from my boss, who would say, oh, I think you're being very straightforward, I don't think that's a great idea. And I was like, but we are all people. At the end of the day, we're all human. Like, why do I have to bullshit you? Like, why can't I just tell you what I can do and what I can't do? Right. And I just got to that point where I was just completely burnt out. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to walk away from this. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to think about what I want to do. And I actually also thought about not doing it, coming back to the industry at all. And I'm like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The heck with it. I'm just going to leave, and spent about 3 months, 4 months trying to figure out what to do. And then I said to myself, I've got so much experience. I can give back so much. Even if I do nothing and I can help one person have a better outcome, let me try that. And that's how I started. In 2024, I put together the offering that I have, which is the advisory offering. I put together
Mhm.
master classes. And my goal, honest to God, Tracy and Alicia, was not to say I'm going to have a $20 million ARR in 2 years. That is not my goal in any which way. My goal is, how do I make things better for everyone in the ecosystem? How can I support that? Because if that is the vibe I'm giving, that is what I am going to get back. I will get
Mhm.
that support myself, right? And that has been my journey, and I think it's been incredible. I was able to have 10,000 followers about a week ago.
Yes.
Yes, it was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And I started January 1, 2024, just talking about what was really close to my heart. And
Mhm.
I think it resonates. I think people see it. And it's only a question of time, as I'm able to start changing more lives. That's
Yeah,
my goal.
I
I
love it.
love. Well, it's funny because how we met and got introduced was at the end of 2024. We were trying to hit our goal to get 1,000 followers on TechnoGals. So we put out this like, please help us. We're so close. Don't let us miss our goal. And you were immediately like our cheerleader. And we had never met you before. And
Yes.
you were sharing our page and you were commenting on all of our stuff, and then you were comment or direct messaging us like, you guys are so close, you got an extra like 40 followers today. And I was just like, this chick is amazing and I've never even met her before. Like, it's really like, it's an interesting time that we live in. And
Yes.
I'm sure you guys have heard of this concept, like a girl's girl. Like, you
Yes.
are a girl's girl. Like, you
Yeah.
root for people, you want the best in people. And I really feel like as we are going through this journey and we're starting to figure out like what is the most meaningful thing for us and what does success look like, part of it is you alluded to this, is like you want to fill up other people's cup, and that's how you get
Yes.
fulfillment. Like, how do you give back in a way that's helping someone else but also super fulfilling to your own kind of identity and core. And I just love that you took the leap. Like, that is not that's a scary thing to do, obviously, and you just did it, which is such courage and grit and just badassery that I'm just so lucky
I
that
love the
our
word
paths crossed.
badassery. That's funny. No, I was, when I saw your post, I said, "Oh my God, these guys are only, just a few people away from 1,000." And look, just to your point, being a girl's girl, but also to the fact that I want to support you. I want to support women. I want to support other men, because we are all into this together. All of us together can make a better ecosystem, and there is no reason why we shouldn't do that. We should absolutely do that on a daily basis.
I know. I love it.
1,000,000%.
I love it. We need
Thank
more,
you.
especially women, just supporting other women too. I just love it. We
Absolutely.
submitted a bunch of thought leadership recently to
Mm.
the Society of Women Engineers, and folks on my team did, folks on my extended community did, and I was like, hey, when one of us gets selected, we're all going to cheer and be super excited for
Yes.
them, because it
Yes.
doesn't matter if it's ours or theirs; it's still a win.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Agreed. No, I love it.
Well,
So by the
Sana,
way, what's your follower count now? I'd like to know.
I think 1,400-ish, somewhere in
Yay!
there.
So
It's
you
been,
guys did go. Yeah,
yes, we
awesome.
did.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it slowly grows.
Good.
We wish it was a little faster, but I think everyone would say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Consistency over everything, Alicia and Tracy. Consistency over everything, So
Yeah,
just keep at it, keep at it. It's just going to happen.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I fully believe it. It's going to be there when the timing is right. It's going to be there, and it's going to be a great thing for us to celebrate.
It is going to be. Absolutely. And I'll be there to cheer you on first. I'm like, yay!
We'll come to
I
New
know
York.
you will.
You better buy me that tequila drink, okay? You don't
Oh,
forget about that. Yeah.
Lots of them,
yes,
obviously.
Done.
we
Done.
will not forget. All right. Well, this has been so much fun, and I appreciate you joining us today to talk about your transformation experience as well as your career, and like having that leap or to believe in yourself in like your next phase of your career. So it's been awesome. So thank you for investing your time with us. And as
Absolutely.
always, we end it by cueing that outro music.
Thank you,
There it
ladies.
is.